What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy, Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first-round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And man, we are keeping this college coaches train going, man. This has been awesome, man. The last about 4 to 6 weeks, we've been rocking and rolling, and the last 2 weeks or so, we've been doing the HBCU schools hard, man. And we closing out the end of a great second week, and great guests, great coaches. We have roundtable discussions, and man, when it comes to it's a few schools. When we talk about HBCU, it's a few schools that just pop up in your mind when you think of it. At least in my mind, and one of those schools has always been Florida A&M, and aka FAMU, and the colors to the program, and you're going to hear a lot about this program, a storied program. Many major league ball players, really quality ball players, have come from this program. And so, without further ado, we have Coach Jamey Shouppe on with us today, talking about the mighty Rattlers. All right, and we are, blessed to have Coach Shouppe on today. So, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. And FAMU does have a great tradition of baseball. You with the Royals probably would know Hal McRae, obviously, managed the Royals for a while. Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
FAMU is located in the same city as in Tallahassee, capital of Florida, which is also where Florida State is. Florida State don't have no first rounders. FAMU does. I'm sorry, Hall of Famers. FAMU does, and Andre Dawson, Marquise Grissom, Vince Coleman. Right. I mean, a lot of who's who with Major League Baseball played right here at FAMU. So we're proud of the baseball tradition that we have
here. Hey, I'm like this. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know Vince. Yep. I didn't even know I didn't know Brian McCray. I didn't know that. I know the Andre Dawsons. I know personal friends of mine. One I just talked to yesterday. He never made it to the major leagues. He will be a future big league pitching coach, Derek Lewis. He's with the Royals now. And there's about 2 or 3 other guys that I played with coming up that came from FAMU, and I didn't even know the big, those big names you name. I didn't even know that. So listen, man, this has been, like I said, this is one of these programs that has been known to produce some great talent. And but anyway, before we even get into more about FAMU, Coach, I would like to know more about you. Would I have all my guests come on? I like for them to start from the beginning, where they're from, playing career, coaching career, to where they are now. So if you could, man, go take us way back. Let my audience know a bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm just a small town guy, man. I'm originally from a small town about 45 miles west of here, city of Hills, called Chattahoochee, and grew up being a Florida State fan my whole life. FAMU been right here with Florida State. Ended up playing there. And was drafted in the 8th round out of Florida State in 1982 as a left-handed pitcher. Came in as an outfielder pitcher, left as just a pitcher. Was in big league camp in 84, 85, I guess it was, with the Astros. And about 3 injuries later, I'm out of baseball and started my coaching career in 1990 at Florida State, and really worked there for 21 years as the assistant coach and as the associate head coach for the last 7 I was there, and then got away from it for a year or 2, went to high school for a year, and then was very fortunate getting the head coaching job here in the same city that I had lived in for so many years and raised 3 kids in. Got that job, I think it was 2014, and have been here. I guess I'm going on my 7th season if you take away this past season, which has just been a mess from top to bottom. So I've been here since 2014, and in the 6 seasons prior to the 2020 debacle of the season, we had won 2 championships, MEAC championships. And so with this season being canceled, that means we'll get a chance next season to defend our championship, our MEAC championship, which will be our last year in the MEAC. And then we'll be moving into the SWAC conference in 2021. as all sports will be for FAMU. So we're excited about that move. You know, nothing bad about the MEAC. It's just a better situation for us in a very, very good conference. So we're excited about that as, you know, the transition from the MEAC into the SWAC.
Yeah, I know that was kind of you know, in the HBC world, it sounds like it was a big move for you guys. You know, a little bit more into that. Is it just a location thing? Was it a, you know, what was the main reason for the switch to the SWAC?
Travel, man, travel. Everything's looked at as cost-cutting measures right now. And the travel that we had, when you look at teams up in Norfolk, Virginia and Maryland, and Coppin State in Maryland, you know, you got 4 teams in the Northern Division that are 14, 15, 16-hour bus trips. If you fly, then, you know, that's an additional cost to your program. So travel makes all the sense in the world for us. FAMU obviously did not want to leave an HBCU. They wanted to remain an HBCU school and program, and the SWAC was just a perfect fit. I think that's kind of been in the works for several years. We got an AD in place now that don't play, man. He got us in there in a hurry. Courtney Gaucher, Mr. Gaucher got that move done in less than a half a year being here. And I think it's going to be a big financial move for us. And I think it's also, I know from a baseball standpoint, the baseball is very good when you look at Alabama State, Jackson State, and Southern, and Grambling, and some of the premier names of HBCU baseball that you've heard. So I think it's going to be a great move. I know it's going to be a tough move for baseball. We're going to have to get better because, you know, the competition is going to be elevated a little bit. Not so much at the top level. Top level MEAC baseball is very good, but I think the lower teams might be just a little bit better than what we saw in the MEAC. So we're going to have to get better top to bottom, and we welcome that challenge, and we're excited about the move that we'll have after the 2020 season. After, you know, God willing, we get this season in, this virus gets out of here, and we can resume some normalcy. We'll move in 2021.
Right. Coach, if you could, some of the listeners, and it's just a little low. I don't know if it's something, your mic or anything is covered or something. It just sounds like you're low. I don't know if you could change that.
I don't know. Is that any better, D?
A little bit.
Yeah, I've got
and
it plugged in right
we could
now
just keep playing with it. But
so hopefully that's better.
Okay.
Let me try one more thing. See if,
just a little.
I don't know if that helps any or not. We'll try that.
All right. It's about the same, but listen, we, you know, maybe talk a little out of it, if anything. It's just a little low. It just sounds far away.
Maybe it's with it.
But
you got an old man here, man, trying to deal with technology. So my kids used to
that's
get
good,
on.
Man. Look, if you speak at that volume, you're good. I think you should be good. So
hey, my 3 kids used to get on to me about technology all the time and helping me, and I had to remind them that I'm the one that taught them how to use a spoon. So we're okay.
Right. No, you're all right, because my daughter knows more about my phone than when I need anything to go with when it comes to phone, I give it to my 12-year-old daughter, which says a lot, right? So yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. Yeah, no doubt about it. So so you got the travel aspect of it. You know, it sounds like the conference and the SWAC is just a little bit deeper, and which is good. And you know, I wanted to ask, man, you coming from, you know, the ACC and Florida State for many, many years, was this your first time, you know, running your own program after you've coached a long time, and to finally, you know, was this your first opportunity to get your own program?
Yeah. Other than high school, this was my first opportunity to coach. First opportunity to coach at the college level, at the D1 level. But other than high school, was my first swing at being a head coach. You know, something that I always dreamed about, and, you know, being able to do things the way I thought they should be done and try to do things the right way. But it's been fun, man. It's been, I couldn't imagine going back and being an assistant coach now. Just, and I couldn't really imagine working at another school. FAMU's been great. The community was very hungry for some good level of baseball, and we've got the thing turned around. The program was not in great shape when we got over it when I joined the coaching staff here and put our coaching staff in place. The facilities were really down. We've improved our facility. Didn't even have a locker room. Now have a locker room. The batting cage was below high school level, and now we've got a very nice hitting facility. So we've been able, with the help of the boosters, help of the community, raise enough money to make it look like a legit Division I program from the outside. And as the facilities have grown, we've grown in terms of talent, in terms of being able to recruit better student athletes. We graduate majority of our student athletes, which is always a good thing, and probably the most important thing when you start recruiting these young men is to let them know that you're going to leave here with a degree. Because as you and I both know, baseball is a great game and you want to play it as long as you can, but it comes to an end rather quickly sometimes. So we preach that to our guys. As I said, I was an 8th rounder out of Florida State. My pitching coach was a 12th rounder out of Florida State. We both got to live that dream of playing professional baseball. And we want that for our players, but we're also right now not playing professional baseball anymore. And so we're trying to prepare our guys for life after baseball, be that after college or be that after professional baseball. So we're proud of what we've done here. We've done some cool things in the 6-7 years that we've been here. Won 2 MEAC championships, as I said, and played in Fenway Park. Actually played the 2 games before we played in Fenway Park, and I think it was 2015. We played the 2 games prior to that in Pawtucket in the AAA stadium for the Red Sox, just up the road from Fenway. We play a tough schedule, man. We play some SEC teams, some ACC teams. As I said, the MEAC schedule is very tough. The SWAC will be very tough. We play the mid-majors in Florida, and as anybody knows, baseball in Florida is pretty dang good. I mean, you start playing those mid-majors like Jacksonville and North Florida, and even going up into Georgia and playing the Mercers, the Georgia States of the world. It's a good brand of baseball that we play, and that helps us recruit good players to come in here. But I think the thing that we're most proud of is what we're able to do academically with our kids. I think this past year we had 14 guys out of our 35-man roster with a 3.0 or better GPA. So we've done it. We've done things the right way, and we look to do things better in the future with this program.
I mean, it's a lot of things you just said, man, and which is awesome, man. Congratulations for turning that program around. But one of the things that stick out to me because of the story tradition that you just stated earlier about all the players that came through there, it's tough for me to think that, man, you guys didn't even have locker rooms, and you had below average, like worse than high school batting cages. To me, that I can't fathom that, especially at a school like FAMU. How does a program like that get to that point? And then obviously you come, and I'm sure with you coming, it's like, hey, I'll come, but this needs X, Y, Z to change and everything like that. Was that kind of like part of the whole deal? Because I know you wasn't going to go to a school with no locker room.
Maybe a little bit, D. It was more like you come, you change it. And so that was a challenge we had. But I think a lot of times you don't know. I mean, as I tease all the time and say, I've been married for 38 years, so I know what no sounds like as good as anybody. And you can't be afraid to hear no. I mean, just ask, and you'll be surprised sometimes what people will give. And I just don't think there was a consistent enough pattern of people asking. And, we can't be afraid to, when you don't have anything, you can't be afraid to ask to get something. And if you hear no, then you roll with it and go to the next one and find out, because there's a lot of people that will help you if you ask. So I think it's just a matter of asking. And then, like anything else, when somebody gives money, they want to see some results, not only on the field winning, but on the field in terms of facilities. So that we didn't let that money rest in a banking account very long if we got it. donations from people. We turned around and put it in the batting cage and put it in a scoreboard and put it in just the little things, the cosmetic things that dress up a ballpark. Had put into a locker room, a nice locker room with 35 lockers and a 75-inch big screen TV, and some of the things that college kids like stuff. Put it in uniforms, put it in practice gear, shoes, bats. We're lucky enough to sign a Rawlings contract, so just things that you can ask, and you never know what you're going to get. And we hadn't been afraid to ask, and we'll continue to do that. We've had good support from the administration. We've got great support now. I mentioned our new AD that facilitated us moving to the SWAC. He is just a big supporter of baseball and just understands that what the college scene is about and the college experience. And when we sign a kid and get him to come in and play for us and graduate from FAMU, he wants them to leave here knowing that they've had a great college experience. And as I said, kids like stuff, and stuff has a lot to do with that. So we try to make it, I would hate to, and we treat our kids right too. You've been around a lot of managers and coaches, and the good ones are always the ones that treat you right. That doesn't mean they're soft on you when it gets on the field. That just means they treat you with respect. And, for me, it would be a shame for a kid to come play for me and leave and say they didn't enjoy their time and their experience here. So that we take that very personal if that happens, and we have a strong bond with our players. And FAMU's, I've never had a guy come in here that I know of anyway that played for us that left here and said they didn't enjoy their experience here. So we do things the right way. Baseball is a game of negatives, man, and too many times you see a kid come off the field and the game has already beat them up, and they get in the dugout and the coach beats them up further mentally, as we're talking about, obviously. We don't do that with our guys. Baseball sucks, man. You know that. You played it. You hate the game sometimes. It wins. It beats you up. And the last thing these players and these guys and these young 18, 20-year-olds need is the game's already beat you up, and you come to the dugout and the coach beats you up further, and all of a sudden they're squelched in terms of their confidence, and you ain't going to play a hard game with lacking confidence. So we try to build it up and try to keep our kids positive, and in the process we win a few ball games because of that, we feel like. And our kids have a great time. And that's what's important, man.
Amen to that, brother. No doubt about it, man. Let me ask you this. Flies in here, man. When you took this job, coming from a great program like Florida State, I was a Florida State fan. I was talking to one of my guys on here, Isaiah. His kid is pretty good, and I wanted to talk to you about him behind the scenes. But we were talking about Tallahassee and FAMU, but I was saying how I was a huge Florida State fan growing up. When my guest yesterday, Fred Lewis, ex-big leaguer from Southern University, we were talking about our Deion days and how Deion made us, a big Florida State fan. Coming from a program like that, and again, I know this is your opportunity to become a D1 coach. Were there any, type of negative vibes or feelings of coming to an HBCU, being, obviously a white male coach coming from Florida State, even though I know you right across the street, but was there any type of, like, man, do I really want to take this as a HBCU? Is my first, time running a program? Did anything like that go on in your head?
I'm losing you I'm getting about every other word. I didn't quite grasp. I knew it's something to do with Florida State, but I didn't grasp the whole question.
Okay, I was saying that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, I was just saying, were there any issues that you were having, negative vibes of going to an HBCU? Being a white coach from Florida State, was there, going to coach an HBCU?
Any negative?
Yeah.
I received negative at all? Is that what you're asking?
No, not you received, but we're like, your thoughts, your personal thoughts of hey, taking on, a black program. Did you have any, trepidations, any feelings?
No, absolutely no reservations whatsoever. It was an opportunity to run my own program, be a head coach at a Division I school, and there, as you know, there aren't that many jobs out there. And I was hungry to have my own program. So I'm thankful. I've been thankful since I've been here for the opportunity that FAMU has given me. And I'll tell you what, man, the FAMU community couldn't be more welcoming and couldn't have received me better than what they received me as. And, you know, a lot of that has to do that we did what we're in the process of doing what we said we would do, that we'd graduate our kids, we would treat our kids fairly. We are as diverse a team as there is in America. I mean, we've used that line for years before Michigan used it in the College World Series this year, that we look like what America looks like. I mean, Michigan said that, but they don't. We're about 50-50 in terms of 50% white kids on our team and 50% other, other being black, other being biracial. And then we've got a few even Latin kids, not many, but a few Latin kids on our team. So if you look at the breakdown per race of the United States, we kind of almost mirror that. And it's a great situation for us. You know, there's a lot of turmoil in the world right now. And, I try to take about 5 minutes before every practice to sit down and just talk to my young men and just make sure they're focused for practice. But also it gives me a chance to teach a few life lessons. And one of them that we hit on every year is diversity. We talk about diversity, and that's great, but that's not the most important thing. I mean, the most important thing, because we are very diverse as a baseball team, but the most important thing is unity. If we're diverse and we got no unity, I mean, you got no chance, man. I mean, it's beautiful the way our kids treat each other and the way they respect each other and the way they get along. I mean, they're just baseball players. They're not white baseball players or Latin baseball players or black baseball. They're baseball players. We're representing the school. We're coming together as a unit. We're unified in what we do. And again, we've been semi-successful doing that, and we'll continue to do that. I think I wish the whole country could do that right now, because we are in strange and difficult times right now. But the key is unity, man. We're all in baseball. We're all looking to do one thing, and that's win. We're trying to come together and win, and it don't matter. You've been in a lot of dugouts. It don't matter the racial breakdown of your team. What matters is, are we all going towards something with the same goal in mind, and just pushing each other to work hard to achieve that goal on a daily basis. So that's what we try to do. That's what we try to preach, and it's been great, man. I wish I would have came here, to be honest with you, because my last 7 years by far more enjoyable for me than the first 21 at the Division I level at Florida State. And that's nothing to say negative about Florida State. I mean, that was a great place. It was my alma mater. I enjoyed playing there, enjoyed coaching there, but I love having the responsibility of these kids looking up to you on a daily basis and trying to just, those guys, and try to make sure that they have a bright future once they leave baseball or leave FAMU. So those are things that we don't take lightly. We enjoy. And as an assistant coach, the good ones, I think, know their place, and you can be everything you can be to those kids, but you can't be their head. You shouldn't try to be. Here, I can be that. I can have the voice that I need to have with those kids, and I keep calling them kids, but young men, so they grow up to be responsible adults. And man, I love it. I couldn't ask for a better situation. And again, the only regret I have is I didn't make this jump earlier.
I love it, Coach, man. So speaking of the kids, the young men that's coming in there, and you told me that they're pretty diverse. I mean, you have the beauty of being strictly in one of the most talented states in all of the country when it comes to, talent wise. Where do you go outside of the state of Florida to recruit all, or is it just, you strictly get the best, kids out of Florida?
Yeah, Florida is a rich country, good. That's the good part. The good part of that is every other coach in the country realizes that Florida is a talent-rich state as well. So, it's not just Florida coaches recruiting Florida kids. Texas has the same problem, I'm sure. California has the same problem being, and the Georgia schools come into Florida, South Carolina. I mean, every state in the Southeast, and even further than that. I mean, every now and then you'll see, one or every other year you'll see a kid leave the state of Florida and go to Stanford to play baseball or other sports. So it is a talent-rich area. We are competing against some very good programs in the state of Florida for those kids, and some very good programs from out of state, those kids as well. So part of it, we are a talent-rich area in the state of Florida, but the bad part is you still got to compete against some very, very good programs. Even if the ones in the state of Florida are full, they're still outside states, competing for the same kids as well. We do a junior college recruiting as well. We recruit, and the junior college system in the state of Florida is really, really good, as it is in Georgia. So we have a mixture of kids from the state of Florida, from the southeast Georgia. We even got a kid this year from Texas. Had him for the last couple of years. One of our closers set a record with 11 saves last school record. So venture out a little bit, but it's kind of hard to leave the state of Florida with all the rich talent there is in this state.
The speaking of the rich talent, so if it's something like when it comes to recruiting and are you kind of like 1 year out, or how deep do you go when it comes to recruiting? And because like I said, you're in a rich state, and you're in one of those like you said, hotbed of talent. And if you see a kid, do you kind of wait for him to kind of decide on the Florida States and the Miamis, and then and then try to get that kid, or are you going right after it, go after these kids early? You know what I'm saying, and try to just get FAMU in that kid's, thoughts. How does that work when it comes to recruiting with you guys?
Yeah, we kind of, first of all, I handle most, if not all, of our recruiting because I was the recruiting coordinator at Florida State for 21 years. So I've got a lot of contacts in the state of Florida and the Southeast, and I rely on those contacts. Having most of the junior colleges coaches by first name, have known them for years. In terms of recruiting at Miami and Florida State, the echelon Division I schools, I really kind of stay away from those guys a little bit. And the reason why is usually those guys are going to go to those bigger schools, or they're going to turn pro out of high school. So I may get the tier kid, and the kid, commits, may end up signing pro. So I may end up in the long run get a better player than what Florida would have had. You hope it works out that way sometimes, but don't go head to head many times with the great programs, in the school, the traditional upper echelon program. We just have a system. It's, again, junior college, sometimes we need to fill some holes, and just getting as talented kids as we can and develop. We have to develop kids, man. We can't we're not going to kids because they've already signed with the bigger schools. So we have to get the kids that are talented but a little raw and develop them. And if we don't develop kids, then we're not going to be very good. So we put player development is big for us. I got a pitching coach, the pitchers. Both of us kind of work a little hand in hand with the hitters, because we both have to throw a lot of BP. And we practice, man. Our program, we practice as good as in the country. I worked with USA Baseball for 4 seasons. Nice. I went with the 1800 national team, so learned a lot during that time. Those 4 years, put that into practice. What I've learned, anything we can still just from other programs and apply to ours makes us better. So we feel like we practice maybe not better, but as good as anybody in the country. You don't have to have an abundance of talent to practice well. You just gotta, and if we don't practice well, we're not going to develop our talent. So we put a lot of emphasis on our practice. And again, the whole thing is, man, we try to have fun. That's the whole thing. Of course, winning is fun, but we're gonna have fun, man.
Right.
We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we enjoy the game of baseball. And the umpire says play baseball. He doesn't say work at it all the time. We work hard when we enjoy our wins because unfortunately you're gonna lose in baseball. And, we try to do things the right way, and we try to make it a positive experience.
All right. A couple questions are coming in, Coach. Just want to make sure I get these in before we keep going. Coach Thomas Eaton says, will Bethune-Cookman follow FAMU to the SWAC?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, we're excited about it, man. As I said, the SWAC's a great conference. It's a great tradition. AD, of course, Courtney Gaucher did a great job of getting us in that, making that move. It had been talked about years, but he gets in, and within 6 months of in the SWAC, which is a great financial move for us. And we're excited, not only for baseball, but for all sports, man. It makes more sense travel. And, we play Alabama State every year. We play Jackson State, most Alcorn State every year. So we've got a lot of experience playing those SWAC teams. Brett, Alcorn State's head coach, was my assistant my first 2 years here, Brett Richardson. And he does a great job on the program. So there's a lot of familiarity already with the SWAC. And we're looking forward to being in that after this coming up season.
All right. Got a couple more questions. Let me see. Somebody's being funny over here, but I guess let me ask this question here, Coach, first. Which Power 5 schools have you beat? I think he didn't say power percentage. I think he just says he meant to say Power 5. What Power 5 schools have you guys beat?
Have we what? Have we beat?
Which Power 5 schools have you beat? Yes.
Can you hear me, D?
I hear you now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Back in 2014, I had to look at the wall because I got a picture to commemorate it. We went down and played number 6 Florida and beat them. That was the first history against University of Florida. As I said, they were ranked number 6 in the country at the time. We played them most every year. We've had, we play Auburn a couple times. Haven't beaten them yet, but had them on the ropes a couple of times. We played South Florida, University of South Florida this year twice and beat them both times. We've had a few wins against big programs, and we hope there's a few more in our future. As we're in the SWAC, because our facilities are constantly getting better, that'll allow us to recruit better players. And, baseball is funny, man. That's what I try to teach our kids all the time. And this, D, as good as anybody. If you pick it up and throw it over without making errors, if you put it in play, if, in football, the strongest team you basketball, the tallest team you win. In baseball, it's the team that executes the skills of the game the best usually wins. And, we beat Florida in 2014, and our kids were so excited. I said, look, here. And I looked to my catcher. I said, Barlow, I said, what'd you do today? He said, I was 2 for 4. I said, what was their catcher? He said, I don't know. I said, he was 0 for 4. And I went to my first baseman. I said the same thing. Benny, what'd you do today, man? He's like, I said, what was their first baseman? I think he's 1 for 4. You're right. He's 1 for 4. I said, my catcher outplayed him. My first base outplayed. I said, if you outplay the other team and you execute, and you don't make errors, and you throw strikes, baseball is a game. It's a skill-specific game. I say we practice as good as anybody because we practice the skills of the game, man. And that's the only way to win anybody, much less the upper echelon. You're probably going to play that have that have more talent than you do. So it's baseball, man. You execute and happen. We tell our guys all the time, we don't play the other team. We play the game well enough, we'll have a chance to beat the other team. So, we try to execute, try to do things the right way, and we've been successful some against the bigger programs and hope to be more successful in the future against those guys.
As you talk, I think about FAMU because my guy, some guy, he wrote, does the band play in between innings? And, FAMU is known for a great band, like most HBCU schools, but FAMU is one of those upper echelon, bands. So, and I think though, I've been a visitor of the Florida Classic football between Bethune-Cookman and FAMU down in Orlando, and around Thanksgiving time. I've been pretty, I used to go a lot when about 10, 15 years ago. But besides the FAMU band, if it comes to sports in FAMU, baseball has to be like that, the number one sport. I know it's not attendance driven and nothing like that, but as far as just talent and history when it comes to FAMU, more so than basketball, football. Am I right, Coach? I mean, we already talked about the names, but FAMU baseball.
I can't remember the year. Yeah, I can't remember the year, but there was a year, I think in the 70s. I think it was the 70s because late 70s, FAMU beat University of Miami in football. One of the guys on the team and I coached football together in high school back in the mid 80s. So right when I got out of professional, they've had some upsets in football programs. Willie Simmons, who coached here last year, was his first year, and they had a great year. Again, I think it's only better. The AD that we have in place now, I keep going back to him, but man, people don't realize what a good AD helps in terms of you running and managing your program. You can't do it without them. So we're only going to get better. The basketball team didn't lose a single game home this year. The men's basketball team didn't lose a single game. They were undefeated at home. I mean, there's some great training field. Softball, man. Softball, Coach Wiggins, who's retiring here shortly, Veronica Wiggins, man, they've won I can't tell you how many MEAC championships. One time they won 3 in a row, my first or second year here. So strong tradition in softball and women's softball. They do a great job. As I say, Coach Wiggins is hanging here this year. He's just an awesome lady and then an awesome coach as well. It's funny how that works into it. Like Willie Simmons, the football coach. Sure, he's a great football coach, but he's a better man and a better person, and that's Robert McCullum, men's basketball coach, same thing. That goes a long way, man. It starts there. And, it's people. You're when you recruit, it's a people game, baseball or basketball or football game. And I think the same thing applies a lot of time to coaching, man. It's more of a people thing than it is a athletic sports thing. You treat guys right, you're going to get the most out of them. And I think everybody understands that. I know our AD does, and he'll continue to hire great people. I think FAMU's still got room to grow and become even better. And I think we're in a process of doing that right now.
Yeah, we have one of my listeners. He was in the Twins organization, but his daughter's there now. He should be on. He was on yesterday, but Damon Iris, he has 2 girls that's gone on, played softball there, and one of his youngest daughters playing there now at FAMU. So he's usually on. He was on yesterday in the show. I don't know, maybe working right now, but yeah, he's a big advocate of FAMU softball. He's always posting about his girls and stuff. So, but anyway, I got a question here that comes in. How do you get 2 6'7" kids off the basketball court, and how does height translate to baseball?
Yeah, so I saw that on the monitor as well. We have actually 3 kids that are 6'6", 6'7". We have 2 starting pitchers. Our number 1 guy in a rotation, Casey Coleman, is 6'7". And then Josh Hancock, our number 2 guy in a rotation, is either 6'6" or 6'7", right behind him. And then we're named Tommy Bean, former basketball player, is a basketball player that's 6'6" as well. The number 1 guy I mentioned, Casey Coleman, actually is our best pitcher and was on the hill when we won the championship this year, or 2019 in the MEAC. Coleman is 6'7", 230 pounds. And really this there has more to do with what he was before that. He in high school, he was a former football player, defensive end, and he weighed 330 pounds coming to high school and really got in shape. And went to junior college first at South Florida Community College, played down there for Rick Hitt. And Rick and I are friends, and he called me and said, this guy just keeps getting better and better. So we went down, took a look, and then signed him. And he's been our best pitcher, #1 pitcher. He also just 3 weeks ago, played in the Collegiate Baseball Summer Invitational out in Texas, which was on ESPN2, and was actually the starting pitcher and pitched 2 2/3 inning to start the game. Of course, they were limited to the pitch count, and on the team that won the championship out there in Texas. So, of those guys, we do. Those 3 are the first 3 to get off the bus when we go on the road too. So, works out good.
Set the tone, huh? I like it, huh? Just yeah, I like it. All right. Let me see here. We have Isaiah says, is coach still recruiting for 2021s? Does he prefer freshmen or JUCO players?
This year is just going to be a weird year. So 2021 recruiting has kind of been on a hold a little bit, unless it's just a can't miss kid, simply because everybody a year back. The seniors got the year back this year, which means the juniors got the year back. So the guys that would have been seniors this year are now just juniors for this coming up season. So you're allowed a 35-man roster, but with the COVID-19 health crisis hitting like it did, guys that would have graduated. We also had an incoming class come in. The kids that we had junior college and freshmen out of high school, or seniors out of high school, kids that we signed come in. So the NCAA saw that and saw there was going to be somewhat of a backlog and allowed us to expand our rosters from 35 to however many and don't have to count the seniors that are returning. So we can still have 35 plus the seniors that are returning. So we got 42 guys right now on our roster, which is a big roster, obviously, huge roster. So there will be, a lot of kids I didn't have money because these seniors were coming back. I talked to a lot of kids or several kids to come in as walk-on that could play, that trusted us enough to know that if they came in and did what they're supposed to, we would put them on scholarship the next year. So a lot of our recruiting will already be on guys that are here currently as walk-ons this year, just to entice those kids and convince those kids to come in. So really that's the whole COVID mess leaves us in a situation in every aspect of life where there's still more questions, and recruiting is one of those that falls in that category. There's more questions than answers now. So, I hate to tell Isaiah, I don't know, but I don't know right now. I don't know what the situation is going to be. And again, I ain't going to back away. Can't miss kid, far and few, between for us at this level. But right now we're just kind of seeing what the future is going to hold. We don't know right now if we're going to definitely have fall baseball or not, football or not. You don't have fall football across the country. Financially, you got problems, and there may not be college baseball. That's the bell cow, man. So we're just in a wait and see pattern. More questions than answered now, and hopefully this country will get help. We'll get this behind us, and we can have some answers to questions such as that.
Man, yeah, I know, man. It's this pandemic is, epidemic, I should say, messed up a lot of programs. And then I look at it like this. It's 42 and you got to make some tough decisions, but how long do you see how many classes down do you see this virus affecting, how many classes for you guys down? Not just you, but many coaches. What do you think, in 3-4 years? The next 2 or 3, when do you feel like it'll kind of get back to normal as far as recruiting wise and normal scholarship stuff given?
Right now, the NCAA shut us down, basically no recruiting on or off campus until August 1st. So hopefully that's not extended. We don't know that right now. It could well be, but right now, August 1st kind of gets us recruiting and allows us to bring kids on campus and talk to them. But right now, none of that's taking place. We're just using this time to kind of upgrade our facilities, and we can do as much as we want to on the phone, but we can't have any face-to-face contact right now. But hopefully that'll change to, in August, and that'll be the first step in getting kind of normalcy.
All right, but how many classes down do you feel like this virus will affect you? That's what I meant, like as far as recruiting wise, how many classes down? You know what I mean? The 2021, 22, 23s. How the effects of this virus. You may not know, but what do you think? How many classes? That's what I meant. The next few years, recruiting wise, will this epidemic affect you?
I think, D, again, sometimes I get every other word with the FaceTime.
With the question?
I think you're asking how long we feel the effects of this in terms of recruiting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
years each year? You know what I'm saying? Recruiting class. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I mean, definitely 1 year, probably 2. It's just according what it's going to vary for different programs, whether they brought in more junior college players or more high school players. So again, goes back to what I said before in terms of, there's more questions than answers still. And again, hopefully August 1st, we'll know that there's going to be baseball. We know there's going to be football, and we'll have a few more answers than we currently have. I see across it says, do we have a JV program? No, we do not have a JV program. We do redshirt players, obviously. Again, this year with 42 already on our roster, I don't know how much we're going to have in terms of walk-on opportunities. Because every day we get 4 or 5 emails from players asking about, can we come in even as a walk-on? Are you looking at taking more? And I have to reply that we can't right now, simply because of roster. One, we feel good about our roster. We like our club coming back for this coming up season. And I think across the board in college baseball, you'll hear most coaches say that. I think college baseball is going to be as good talent-wise as it's ever been. The draft was only 5 rounds this year, which means a lot of those juniors that would have been a 9th round pick are returning to college. Not only do we have our new recruiting class coming in, but we got our seniors coming back for one more shot at it. So baseball is going to be very, very good for at least this year, if not a couple of years. And again, depending on what your recruiting classes look like in terms of junior college kids or high school kids, it could be for years following that.
All right. Chipper says, ask Coach, does he know Mark Pasalo out of Plant City, Florida?
I didn't catch the last name. I heard Plant City, Florida. My wife is from Plant City, Florida. She went to high school in Plant City. So I know a lot of people there. Nice. There's a good chance. I can't see with the last name, but as I said, my wife's from Dover, right near Plant City, Florida, years ago from Plant City High School. My mother-in-law still lives there, which Tampa is a great area for recruiting. And you talk about HBCUs and not much budget. So a lot of times I'll go down and stay with her, with her, and just recruit out of their house and save some money and get to see some kids from a great, great area.
Yeah. What the guy that just asked, Isaiah, who was asking about the 2021, he's from Brandon. This kid is from Brandon High School.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Tampa area.
Yeah. We got one of our pictures a few years back.
I'll give you his information behind it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, send it to me.
All right. Let me see. We got what up, D? Will FAMU still have a fall season, and how many games do you play in the fall?
I hope so. That's something we'll know once what the football schedule is going to look like. We don't get to play. Junior college get to play 20 games in the fall. Division I schools get to play a couple of games, 2. We kind of make those. I think most programs across college baseball make those 2 into 4 by playing a double header. Each of the 2 days they're allowed to play. So we don't get the whole opportunity to look at our guys against outside competition. A lot of scrimmages, and we try to take those games and play junior college teams so that we can. It's easy recruiting for us when we can play the junior college teams because we see them for a whole and get to work our guys at the same time. So, Division I.
Well, why is that? Why is the junior colleges? Why does the junior college have opportunities to play a lot of games in the fall?
Maybe cost cutting. Maybe there's we used to play 50. We're allowed to play 56 in the spring, and we used to only play 52 and play 4 of those in the fall to make our 56. And then the NCAA came and gave us 2 in the fall and said you couldn't take them from the spring and play them in the fall because I was going to take those 2 and the 4 that I was and play 6 in the fall and then 52. And I got my hand slapped by the NCAA for trying that one. So I'm still hoping they'll change that and allow us to. Yeah, I don't think you can out-coach playing. I mean, that's why you got the whole minor league system, man. You can't out-coach playing. So I want to play as much as I can. But unfortunately, the rules didn't say don't allow that right now. Hopefully that'll change soon.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That other, is one of the many rules I don't understand. Russ says, how many kids have you had drafted?
We've had a couple drafted. We had Benny Robinson, the MEAC Player of the Year in 2014 or 15. And then we had Aubrey McCardle drafted. Both were, Benny was a first baseman outfielder and McCarty was a right-handed pitcher outfielder was drafted. He was ambidextrous, actually. He was our 4th hole hitter and switch hitter. And he was also he was our number 3. We pitched him as our 3 in the rotation on Sundays, simply so he could play Friday and Saturday. And then we'd use him sometimes in the midweek as a left-handed pitcher. He was first true ambidextrous guy I actually do it in games. So I think he had 3 or 4 appearances as a left-handed pitcher in relief, and then it would start on weekends as a right-hander, which I thought was pretty cool. He was drafted a couple of years back as well. So
and he was productive. He was productive on the left side.
He was productive. Yeah, he was a good player. Draftable kids. He was about 84, 85 from the left side and about 90, 92 from the right-hand side.
Wow.
He was drafted as an outfielder, though, switch hitting outfielder. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Talking about an athlete, that's impressive. All right. How has FAMU performed in NCAA regionals?
We've won 2 MEAC championship. The winner of the MEAC goes to the regional tournament. Our first regional was in 2015 at the University of Florida, and we haven't won a game. We didn't win those 2 games. That was a year after we'd beaten Florida, so we weren't going to slip up on them that year. And then this past long season, not the COVID short 19 season, we went to Georgia Tech and played. We played Georgia Tech the first night. Had a good ball game going. We were down 1 or 2 runs going into the 8th inning. Had a double play turn. Had we turned it, we'd have gone into the 9th inning down 1 or 2 against Georgia Tech. They were, I think, a number 6 national seed. And I think after that, the floodgates opened up a little bit. We lost the next game to Coastal Carolina, who won a national championship several years back. So 4 games in regionals, haven't won one yet. And we're hoping 2021 will be the breakthrough on that for FAMU baseball.
All right. I have a family member of Malachi Mitchell on team. Is there a Malachi Mitchell on your team?
I didn't hear you, D. I'm sorry.
All right. Malachi Mitchell. Malachi Mitchell is our cousin. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's one of my listeners' cousins.
You see that now. I'm trying to read it. Malachi, whose father actually was Dennis Mitchell, Olympic, I think silver medalist, if not gold medalist. Yeah, Malachi was a good player for us. Played the outfield, could flat out fly. I guess he inherited that speed from his father. But he hasn't been with us the last couple of years. He transferred to, I think it was Savannah State, and then set out last year. So he's probably done with college baseball now. But he was a pleasure to coach, pleasure to have in our program out of Gainesville, down the Gainesville area. But his speed was definitely his best tool, and just a great young.
Okay. Yeah, I think he reached out to me behind the scenes. Now that I think about it, so I know with nothing being open right now, Coach, where is there any camps, anything that you have scheduled for the wintertime or anything?
We usually have a fall showcase camp in September till we know if we're going to be able to open campus back up to everyone. We won't know if we'll be able to do that this year. We usually have usually three showcases a year. One in the beginning of the fall, one around Christmas, and one at the beginning of the summer baseball season. And this year, obviously, we haven't been able to do that. If we have one this fall, it will be in September. If anybody's listening and interested in trying to let us see what you can do and join our showcases, our camp, I would just email me, and I guess in August would be the smart thing. We will not have one until September at the earliest, sometime in September. So good question. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I know that's I know a lot of people want to know that. I'm going to put in the comment section these parents to send. How do you like for them to reach out to you as far as is it email as far as video or anything like that with the future prospects?
Yeah, all the above. I mean, as much information as we can get, the better it is for us. Videos, any videos you can have. We're not going to sign a guy based solely on a video just to go see him, see what he's capable of doing in person if we like what we see. The time in camp, D,
okay.
When I do have kids, and I go back to an old story of recruiting about a kid that I had to go in the other side of Atlanta to see play, and I happened to drive up because I wanted to kids, and I was really tired from. I had a kid that was supposed to be able to run, and I got there and watched pregame, and he kind of drug around everywhere and showed no enthusiasm. And his first time up, I got stopwatch out when the clock is timed to first, and he hits a ground ball to shortstop, and he plays and slows down and stops completely before he gets to the base. And I always ask the kids when I see, when I talk to groups, I said, "Do you know what he did the second time up?" And I let them sit for a minute. Why? Because I was gone, man. See somebody that wanted to play the game the way the game's supposed to be played. So, out there trying to get to the level in baseball or anything for that matter, whatever you do, man, do it your best. Don't, I used to tell my kids, I had two boys and a daughter. They're grown now, but one played college baseball at FAU. And I used to tell them, I said, play every game and practice every day, just like somebody paid to watch you play and practice it, because when somebody does, you don't have to worry about how you play. So play the game right, man. It doesn't cost to hustle, man. Anybody, it don't take any talent to hustle. So, I encourage guys that are listening out there right now that want to come to the show. Don't come into my showcase with low energy, man, because I want guys that get after it and enjoy playing the game.
Amen to that, man. Yeah, I'm somebody didn't coach him right, but he says, Russ says, do you have kids that come to FAMU, improve, and then transfer to other schools? How does that hurt the programs? Do you think rules should be put in place to stop that?
Yeah, there are rules in place for that. There's a transfer rule. If a guy comes in, transfer to another Division I program, he has to sit there. So there's the NCAA discourages that. However, they can still transfer to a junior college. You get a guy freshman year and puts up good numbers and then wants to go to a University of Florida or Florida State. They can't go directly. If they're going to do that, they got to go play at a junior college for a year or sit out there. And I think that goes back to, your best defense for that is not the NCAA. Your best defense for that is to treat your kids right while they're here. We've had some talented kids that came back. Every one of our seniors wanted to come back this year and play for us. So your best defense for that is not the NCAA. It's treating your kids right and putting together a good schedule for them to play, a competitive schedule. Sure they enjoy the time that they're with.
All right. With the shortage of MLB draft rounds, don't you feel that MLB is missing out on a lot of serious talent?
Well, there was only 5 rounds this year, so that's why I say the talent level. A guy usually would have been drafted in the 8th or 9th round ended up going back. A guy that coming out of high school that would have been a 7th, 8th round draft choice ended up going to school this year. So there's a lot of talent, and it certainly is going to. So that's why I say college baseball is going to be the best it's been in years. I feel like, I don't know for how many years, but it's certainly this coming up year and probably the following year will be very, very good. I think they're talking about going to 20 rounds next year if things get back on pace and on par with what they're supposed, what they normally are. So, the 5 rounds of Major League have certainly had an effect. Positively for college, negatively for these kids that want the opportunity to go into professional baseball, as you did out of high school. Of course, it wouldn't have affected you first.
I agree.
I agree.
No, yeah.
It would have affected me as an 8th rounder, but not.
Right. But I agree with you, Coach. I believe that college baseball this next year or two is gonna be a high level brand. All right, and
I think so, man.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple more questions, Coach, and I'm gonna get you up out of here. We said, how do you feel about small town country boy that will hit the strike zone with a ton of movement?
Small town kids don't bother me at all. I came from a little town called Chattahoochee. It doesn't get much smaller than that. I think we had 2 red lights in our town. J.D. Drew came from the big league, made over $100 million. Signed him at Florida State. He was the last guy to hit in our showcase camp. Nobody knew who he was.
Really?
So small town kids don't bother me at all, man. If they can play, I don't care if they can be from. I don't. If they can play, I know there ain't a lot of baseball in Alaska in January and February, but it doesn't matter where a kid's from. I care about more what a kid's about rather than where he's from. So we'll find kids from all areas, all backgrounds, all areas.
So what is the cost? What are the costs that are in state and out of state when it comes to FAMU? What are the costs to go to school there?
What are the what, D?
The cost. The how much does it cost? Tuition, room and board.
Right. It's about $18,000. If a kid were having to pay for everything, it would cost him about $18,000 in state. That's for housing, that's for meals, that's for tuition fees. And all that. State is considerably more. We don't have out-of-state waivers for baseball, so it's quite a bit more. But $18,000 in state.
Okay. I want to make sure I hit everything over there. Any academic requirements that you guys require at FAMU?
Yeah, I think you asked about requirements. Academically,
academic requirements. Absolutely.
It's getting more and more difficult. Sometimes I think FAMU's trying to become the Harvard of the South, man. It's becoming more and more difficult to get in. So the same tenacity that you have on the athletic field, be that baseball, football, basketball, whatever. You need to have that same tenacity in the classroom. I think it says a lot about you as a person if you have, a go-get-em attitude in the classroom as well. So don't let, while you're in high school or when you're in junior college, don't let grades be the reason you don't get to go to the school you want to go to. Don't leave any doubt there, man. Do what you're supposed to do academically. That way, when baseball doesn't work out, if baseball doesn't work out, you have the most important thing and your priorities in place. So the admittance requirement for FAMU are going up every year. And again, you don't want to leave any doubt when it comes to what you're capable of doing in the classroom and not be able to go to the school of your choice because of academics. So don't play with that. Just do the best you can. School is not hard. It's just a matter of time management, doing what you're supposed to, making sure it's a priority.
I love it. Amen to that, Coach. I think, let me see. I'm going to make sure I have any questions left. But I wanted to make sure, we've been on for a good hour, Coach, and I appreciate your time and the great nuggets. And, I'm anxious to see and hear what's going to happen with the FAMU program and, with that rich tradition. And, congrats to what you've done so far. And, I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to do. What I love all my guys to do, on my guests, is to, leave us with a great message, if you could, as far as you've been giving us nuggets, but it could be message to the parents, coaches on, or whoever's still, that's still on board, just to kind of take us home with a great message, if you could, Coach.
You're not guaranteed a chance to play college baseball, man. You're not guaranteed a chance to play high school baseball. Don't ever take that for granted, because as you know, D, you were fortunate. Yours was after a 9-year, whatever, big league career. Mine was after professional career, 4 years in pro baseball. But it's coming to an end, man. And don't ever take that for granted. As I said, the story about the kid, don't let somebody leave when they come to see you play. If they leave, make sure they leave and trying to find your number on the way out and offer you that opportunity to play. It's a great game. Baseball is a great game. FAMU is a great university, man. I encourage kids to look into our program, look into our university. Great baseball, great school, great campus. I tell kids all the time too, you only have one chance to make a first impression. So make sure the first impression somebody has about you, be it academically when they look at your transcript, be it when they see you at practice, or be it when they see you, make sure their first impression is the right impression that you want to leave with somebody. I always say this, I call it my pillow theory. If I can put my head on the pillow and know that I've done the best I can do that day, I can sleep well, man. So I hope everybody can use that. Sleep well, man. Put your head on the pillow at night and say, you know what, I had a good day, man. God blessed me with a great day, and I took advantage of it to the best of my ability. If you can do that, then you can live with whatever results, be it positive or negative, that come your way. So that's the best advice I can give somebody, man. Live the fullest, enjoy it, treat your fellow man the right way, take care of yourself, do what's responsible and do what's right. And, it's amazing how lucky you can be when you do things the right way. It kind of follows that. So that's what I'd encourage people to do and to try to become.
I love it, Coach, man. And I thank you for that message. I know my listeners do too, man. Listen, like I said in the beginning, FAMU is one of those historic, upper echelon HBCU schools with Hall of Famers, great major league players, a lot of professional players that never made it to the big leagues but played professionally. I know a lot of parents think that HBCU schools don't get the exposure, but FAMU being in Florida with a great tradition, they are always going to be highly sought after from scouts. Obviously, with Coach Shouppe's background in Florida State, he's a well-known coach, been in the game many, many years. So they know that when he says something about the talent, they're going to listen. So I'm an advocate again of HBCU schools, and obviously, Coach, being at a great institution like FAMU, a lot of my personal friends have gone. I highly suggest that you go and check out via email. I left it in the comment section, but check out when he's going to have a camp if you're extremely interested in the next showcase camps. Find out about it. Email him if you're interested of him recruiting you. Send the video out via email. I put the email in the comment section. Coach, I appreciate you coming on, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, D. I appreciate it, man. Best of luck to you.
All right. Tomorrow, parents, 4 p.m., we have Coach Keith Shouppe of Norfolk State coming on. We're going to keep this HBCU rolling. And I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for listening. I love you guys. See you guys 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with Coach Keith Shouppe of Norfolk State. I say here, I wanted to keep this HBCU rolling. I will see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Coach Keith Shouppe of Norfolk State.